And we're recording. Okay, guys, again, I apologize. Goes to show you that it doesn't matter how many times you do this. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. So, all right. Solution finders, right? Finally found a solution 10 minutes later. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got two different kind of mentoring groups together on this same call. So Rhonda is leading a group of girls and I'm kind of leading a group of girls, and we're going to divide and conquer on this. But we thought that it'd be fun to get you guys all together because I feel like for one, to help you guys get to know more people and build more cross-line relationships. But also because I think that anytime we can get more like engagement and like excitement going and like conversation, it's a really good thing. And we can all learn things from each other. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So the first thing I want to do tonight is just let everybody kind of introduce themselves. I know that not everyone has their camera on and not everyone may be to where they can actually talk. But if you can't, put it in on the chat. But if you can, like, we would love to hear from you and see your face. And so let's just start out with let's just introduce yourself, your name, the highest rank that you've achieved, and then what your goals are for, here in November. So I'll go ahead, I'll start, and then I'll just say you guys' names as I see you here on my screen. So I'm Lindy, obviously. Highest rank that we've achieved so far is platinum, working towards diamond. And my goals here for November are to teach some intro classes, like as many as I can get scheduled. And I'm working with like specific legs more intentionally because that's where we need growth. And then hitting Help 5. And so if you guys don't know about Help 5, you should check out Help 5 because it has been like monumental for my business and for growth. So Help 5 was launched last spring sometime. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, the first few months I didn't really pay any attention to it at all until like June or July. And so this is just a quick story, but I think it's important. So I'm going to take the time to tell it. But didn't pay any attention to it till June or July and did not realize it. But I had kind of fallen into management mode, which is something that we don't want to do. Basically, it's when you kind of like quit doing the really hard stuff and you get stuck into more like administrative type tasks, or like you think you're working, but you're not actually like enrolling and getting people on ER, which is like the two things that can grow your business the fastest. And some of you that are on here that are just starting your business, you're probably like, you are crazy. Like, how could you like quit doing those things? But let me tell you, it's really easy as your business grows because it's not as obvious when you quit doing those things because there's still other people that are doing those things. But when a bunch of people quit doing those things all at the same time, it is not a cool thing to have happen. And I learned a ton from that because I realized that obviously like as a leader, and I'm telling you guys this because you're going to have builders working under you at some point in time here, like in the very, very near future, if you don't already, they're going to do what they see you doing, which means that if you quit teaching classes, if you quit enrolling, if you quit getting people on ER, which is Essential Rewards, I think you guys are kind of all familiar enough with that. Then like they're going to quit doing that too. And so I ignored Help 5 and I wasn't really doing those things. And then I was like, oh, dang it. Like what is happening? And so my personality is once I recognize there is a problem, I jump to solutions and I'm like, all right, we got to fix this now. Like I like do a 180 and then it's like, all right, how can we fix this? I go into like fix it mode. Which is what happened. Only when something happens over a course of several months, you can't fix it overnight. It takes time. And so I started really focusing intentionally on Help 5, and it took me a couple of months to hit it. But you guys, like if you focus on trying to hit Help 5 and you focus on those tasks or activities that can lead you to that, I promise you will see rapid growth in your business because those are the most important areas for us to focus on. And so July, I think I had like 1 or 2 Help 5 points. August, I had 4 or 5. September, I think I hit September I had 4, October I had 7. And so, and I've seen like growth, things have turned around exactly as those Help 5 numbers like reflect. And so I just say that to tell you, when we talk about Help 5, pay attention to Help 5. And I love it because it's something that it does not matter if you are a distributor or if you're a Royal Crown Diamond. Help 5 is an amazing place to focus. And so that is one of my big goals like this month, and will always be one of my goals from like here till the end of time, because it is that incredibly important, and it helps keep me accountable to myself, that I am doing the things I need to be doing, that I am in the trenches with all of you guys, doing the exact same things that you are doing, because those tasks don't really change with your rank. They may look a little bit different, but we should all still be doing the exact same thing. So that has been a huge learning thing for me over the last couple of months, is figuring that out. And once I did, it is such a simple concept, and it's so simple, but like it just took me, I had to learn that lesson the hard way. And so I say that to you for several reasons, but one of them being that hopefully you can learn from that as well and not have to experience it yourself, because it's not fun. So those are some of my goals for November. And then right along with that is like helping as many of you guys rank up as humanly possible, because like I get so much more thrill out of seeing you guys succeed than myself. Like when you guys hit star, senior star, executive, silver, like that is so much more exciting to me than like us ranking up. And so that's like one of my big whys, is helping you guys achieve your freedom, freedoms that you want, goals that you have like for your family. Like that's what drives me more so than even just our own goals and stuff that we have. So anyway, that's a very long answer, but I wanted to talk about the Help 5 thing. So Jennifer, you're up. And I can, is it easier if I unmute you guys rather than trying to mute yourselves? Okay.
Okay.
All right, Jennifer.
Does that work?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Jennifer, and I am executive pushing for silver currently. And for this, I mean, that's my biggest goal this month, and to help at least and personally enroll 2 and hit the Help 5, especially with getting more ER. I am concentrating on increasing ER this month, and so by I'd like to hit Help 5 mostly with increasing my ER. And then for this month, I have a couple gals back in Kansas who are going to do a make and take, and have some girls come to that, and then do a lot of one-on-ones. A lot of my signups are one-on-ones or social media, Facebook classes, or Instagram actually. So those are my biggest goals.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that you mentioned like you know where the largest number of your signups come from, and that's where you're choosing to focus. That's super smart. Super smart. Okay, Rhonda, you are up next. Do you want me to unmute you? Or you got it?
I'm good.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Rhonda. I think you all know me. I'm Lindy's mother. Oh, by the way, I am a gold. I guess the main goal is that our team will regain gold status for the third month. So that's very important. And the last couple of months, I've had a lot of gals rank up. So it's very important for them to re-rank and then get as many people underneath us as we can to rank up. Is probably one of my main goals, is to help as many beneath me to rank up. Help 5 is huge. I want to work towards that again. I am focusing, I like what Jennifer said, so I'll tell you what I'm focusing in. I'm primarily finding mostly enrollments with the sample classes that I do with the texting. So that has really been huge. I've chosen to kind of look outside my local market, just so we're not overlapping as much. So the texting classes are really being successful for me. I think it's a way to kind of reach out and do that one-on-one with them, but I can do several, or run as many classes as I need to throughout the month. Actually, this week I'm actually traveling. We're in Texas, so this is something that works out really good because with my husband, with our schedule, a lot of times we are gone, and this is something I can continue to do while we're traveling, whatever. So that's working. Planning things at the venue as well, which is more, it can be kind of a one-on-one if there's the people there, but it's more of a continuing education and just strengthen the community, which is huge. Community's huge. So I think that's probably condensing it down. That's what I'm doing. That's our goal.
Yep. And for those of you that don't know, Rhonda's team, a large percentage of them are local to her. So she has a lot of leaders here in our small little town. And so that's the reason why she said that she is kind of looking outside of her local market and exploring people that she's known for, I mean, gosh, some people she hasn't seen in 15 or 20 years or longer, but is kind of reestablishing relationships with them, which I think is awesome. You've done a really good job at that. Okay, Trish, you are next, and I'm going to unmute you, okay? Yay! Okay. You're live. We can't hear you, though. Can you hear us, Trish? Trish?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really weird. It just told me I was unmuted.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. So my name is Trish Oviatt. I am a senior star pushing for executive. My goal for the month was is to personally enroll 2. I want to build under my 2 legs this month and have a solid 3,000 OGV working towards that executive and helping get some of my girls on, I say girls, there's a couple guys too, but getting my team on ER.
That's awesome. So are you focusing on legs this month mainly, like getting your legs set? Is that your main
Yes.
goal? Okay.
Yep, that's my main goal.
Super smart. Super smart. Okay. Jaylee, you're up. I'm going to unmute you, and I can't see your face, so I hope that's okay. Hey, I can see your face now. There you go.
Okay. Hi, I'm executive right now, pushing for silver, and my goals are to personally enroll 3 people. I'm really going to be focusing on my texting class because I feel like those help a lot. I have like a lot of people that are interested, so really happy about that. And I want to hit help 5 this month, so we are really pushing towards that. And I'm really trying to get my husband on board too. He loves oils, but I don't know if he's really on board with doing the business, so I'm going to really encourage him to talk to his side of the family. He's a lot better than I am on that.
Awesome. All right, I can hear Case in the background too.
Yeah, he's pretty loud tonight.
Okay. And all right, Whitney, you're up.
Okay, I am Whitney Blevins. I have been a star for the last 2 months. This month, I'm going to push for senior star. I personally want to enroll 3 people this month, and I have 2 parties set up, so I'm hoping that I can enroll more than that. And this month, I really want to focus on hitting the Help 5 and learning more about building my legs and placing people in the right orders and spots and focusing on my legs.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, you're already ahead of the ball for our, what I want to say, like our little task for tomorrow. because you're scheduling classes tonight. So high five. Okay, let me see who else we've got on here. Okay, Jess, Rose, and Chelsea. Okay, if y'all don't want to be unmuted, you should tell me in the comments before I unmute you. Jess, you're next, so you're getting ready to be live. All right, Jess.
Hey, are you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm here as well. We're just putting Charlie down, so I had you guys off of video. Anyways, I am a senior star, and I am pushing for executive as well. Goals for this month are I'd like Trish to have a solid 3,000 OG. I am kind of going the route of classes for my team. And that's also like the SDJ classes, oil gathering classes, to get them in on the product education side of things, but also setting up classes for them to help them teach other people and get the education out for other people. So yes, I'm glad we're setting up classes tonight because definitely need to do that. And I want to help a couple of my girls rank up to stars this month as well. So those are my goals.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right, Chelsea, I can see you now, so I'm going to unmute you.
Okay.
All right.
Hi. I'm Chelsea. Last month was the first month that I hit senior star. My dog's trying to be in the video. And my goals for this month are to hit Help 5. I have a party planned for later this month, which I'm excited about, but I feel like my one-on-one time with people has been more successful, so I'm going to try to focus on that and customer service, and hopefully that will be good.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited for all of you guys because like as you guys are on here talking, there's so many of you that have either like just ranked up, just regained a rank, like you're working towards a new rank. Like there's so many exciting things happening. And so that like gets me all kinds of excited because you guys are like literally in like running mode right now, which is like perfect. So anyway, you guys are doing great. Okay. Rose, I think is all we have left, but I don't see her on here now. Okay. Unless I forgot, if I forgot someone else, Rhonda, say something because you're telling me something. Okay. I can hear you now. Okay. All right. All right, if you were telling me something, I cannot hear you, so you should type it into the comments. Okay, all right, guys. So I wanted you to kind of know like who you're in this with because you guys, a lot of you are in the exact same places. And so I mean, like for example, Trish and Jess, you guys are both working towards your goal of 3,000 OGB this month, getting your legs set at 1,000 a piece, like you're going towards executive. And so it's cool to know that because then if you girls want to brainstorm or if you want to cheer each other on, like you can connect now that you know you're kind of in the exact same place. And so that's really fun and encouraging too. So Rose, I'm going to unmute you and let you talk to us here. Maybe. It's not letting me. Well, there we go. Okay. Are you there, Rose?
I'm having some phone issues, so
it's okay.
I'm here, but my goal was like to get senior star and to enroll to and get 2 on ER, which would almost be the Help 5, but
that's awesome. So like 2 current team members on ER?
That would be good, but
okay. Okay, yeah, you could totally get Help 5, Rose. So like one new member
Right.
on ER at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm asking this, because I'm like calculating in my head. I'm like, how is Rose going to hit Help 5? Like you can hit Help 5. So know that I'm cheering you on to hit Help 5, Rose. You've got this. Okay. All right, guys. So I think that's everyone. Yay. Okay. So now you guys kind of know where everyone's at. So I hope that was like useful to you and you're not like, Lundy, what are we doing here? Real quick reminder, and then we're going to get into some social media tips, because that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So every Monday night, there is I think this month for sure, there is a rank call on the SDJ Biz Chat page. And those are phenomenal. So you can get on, like, for example, if you're already a senior star, you can get on the star call too, if you would like to. So the star call is tomorrow night, and I'm thinking it is at 7 p.m., but there's an event on the SDJ Biz Chat page for that. So if you're unsure, check that out. I think I checked, and I think all of you guys have been invited to your rank call, and so you should have an invite in the events. But star is tomorrow night, senior star is the next Monday, and then executive I think is the following Monday, as long as I have that correct. So make sure you plug into those, because there is so much good stuff in there. So I'll be on those calls with you guys. So if you have any questions or anything afterwards, like you can reach out and we can talk through stuff. And then also on those calls, do not be afraid to ask questions. So if you have a question, like, it is totally fine to like unmute yourself and ask questions, or to type questions into the chat. So don't be afraid to engage in those calls. Don't ever feel like, well, I, just hit executives. Like, I don't want to say anything because some of these girls have been executive for a long time. No. Like, that stuff, like, does not even matter. Like, speak up on those calls, because in order to get like the most out of it, you've got to engage. And so not that you have to like speak up and say something, but like be present, take notes. Like, if you have questions beforehand, write those down and bring them to the call. So those are great resources for you, and you're going to hear from different people on those calls. And so you might get to hear from, like, let's say Jessica Numbers, and she is more of like a red-blue personality. So she's very motivated, driven, goal-oriented. Like, if you put a prize out in front of her, she will go get the dang prize, right? And so you might be more motivated by something, or something she says might click a little bit more for you than something that I say. I'm more yellow, like, I want to help people and like that kind of thing. And so she might speak more your language. So that's another reason why those calls are so good, is because you just get to hear from other people that are like really good and know their stuff. So, tap into those calls, and then utilize the classes that are on Tuesday nights as well. And so I know a lot of you guys talked about increasing ER percentage. Okay, one way that we can help do that is we're going to work some this next week on just good customer service with our members that are on ER and our members that aren't on ER. Yes, Whitney, those calls are Zoom calls as well. And so what'll happen, the rank calls. So like tomorrow night for the star call, there's an event on the SDJ business chat page. And if you go to the events section, you'll see the star rank call. You'll click on it and you just hit going. And then a few minutes before the call, Megan will post the link on there, just like we did tonight. You'll just click on the link again, and then the call will start. So it'll be the exact same concept. And it is the rank that you're currently at. So the highest rank that you've ever hit, that's the rank call that you would go to. But if you want to go, like if you're a senior star and you want to go to the star call too, like that's totally cool. So, but anyway, those classes Tuesday night are a great way to plug in your current members, because some of them may not even realize we have those classes. And so like, let's say we had, this is just like an example. Let's say we had an oils and pets class, and you know that Jennifer on your team is crazy about her little dog, and you're like, this is true, except Jennifer would be teaching the class. But you know that like Jennifer, like that she needs to be on that class. She would love it. You shoot her a message. Hey, Jennifer, did you see we have this oils and pets class Tuesday night? You're going to love it. I'm going to be on there too. Like, let's get on there and check it out. Like, invite them. And so take the extra step instead of just inviting them to the event on Facebook, like actually send them a message and personally invite them. Those are the kind of things like good customer service type deals. So classes Tuesday night are great to plug your current members into. And I mean, obviously utilize those because we're not really having to do the work per se, right? But it is good to show up, because when you show up, your team's going to be notified too when you're commenting on the posts and stuff. So show up and engage on those will work really, really well for you. So, okay. And then other stuff we have going on this week, I'm trying to think through the task to make sure that there's not anything else that I need to be telling you. And I think that gets it. If anything else needs more explanation, you guys ask. If you get a text and you're like, I don't know what this means, ask, because in my mind it probably made sense, but I probably left out some missing links, which is very likely. So do not be afraid to ask those questions. If you have questions on wording or something like that, as we're working on good customer service this week for ER and non-ER members, please like reach out and say, hey, does this sound okay? Like, is this what I should be sending? Or what did you mean by this? Like, that's why we're here, and like why we're texting is so you have like direct access to us. So, okay, let's get into some social media tips. And so the reason why we are really like taking the time to focus on social media is because it can do wonders for your business, and especially when it comes to connecting with some people that you are maybe are like acquaintances to you, people that you maybe know from like high school or like even like fifth grade. Like I've got a girl, we went to fifth grade together, and like we were best friends and I love her, but I haven't seen her in years. And so, but being present on social media and doing social media correctly can work really, really well for you and help you kind of like rekindle those relationships and also get those people on your team, because the goal is that I know some of you guys probably were very hesitant jumping into this business because you had kind of the stereotypical MLM in your mind, and you were like, there is no way I am doing that, right? I am not doing an MLM. I'm not going to be that person. We all have like someone in our head right now, right? I'm not going to be that person doing that. Okay. There is a way that you can do this business and utilize your social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram without kind of being like the gross salesy, like kind of just like you see the post and you're like, ooh, like almost like fingers on a chalkboard. There's a way that you can avoid all of that and do it in a really, really good way. And like actually have people reach out to you and ask you about oils too. Jennifer is going to give us a few tips on that. And then, so Jennifer, I'm going to let you just jump into it because I know that you've got notes on this, and then I can kind of sum it up, or if there's something else that I want to add in, I'll add in at the end. But Jennifer, I'm unmuting you and it is all yours.
Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. So there's, we went to the Lindsay Teague Marino event this past weekend, and she is the social media guru. If you haven't read her book, Getting Noticed, thank you. It is very good, very short and sweet. I mean, for me, I never read a book, you guys. I do Audible everything, and I can read it in 30 minutes, and I'm okay with that. So definitely get that. A couple of things that I want to touch base with you on is the algorithm of Facebook and Instagram. So a couple of things. Whenever you post to your Instagram, if you click share on Facebook, Facebook will automatically knock that down on your algorithm because it doesn't want you to share across. So what I do is I copy and paste what I get from Instagram and I post it over into Facebook. So it's like a whole new post, and Facebook will allow that. With Instagram, you want to use hashtags. That's how Instagram works, is by hashtags. But inside of Facebook, do not use hashtags, because your hashtags will knock you down in the algorithm. No matter what the hashtag is, it will knock you down. So that is something that I think Facebook used to be okay with, but they're no longer okay with. And with both of the platforms, so if you use Facebook or Instagram, whatever you use, posting consistently just once a day, like how much ever you can handle. If you do once a day or 3 times a day, I only do once a day. And it's immensely important to be consistent. I this whenever if I take a weekend sabbatical and I don't post for 2 days, my first post on Monday, whatever time it is maybe 5 likes. Whereas if I'm consistently posting throughout the week, I can get up to 50 to 70 likes, which is insane to people who I've never even knew that they were so active on Facebook. They're seeing it because you're being consistent. So the algorithm will bump you up. And don't, like I said, the hashtags and just little random stuff like that. One way that you can know is a good time to post on Facebook is if you look inside of your Facebook Messenger, it'll say 56 people active or 70 people active. Just kind of glance at that throughout the day and see when is your most active time. For me, it's usually at night or lunchtime. So that's, usually noon to 8 o'clock whenever friends get their, wind down or get their kids down to sleep. So know that whenever your biggest group is on. But post, just as long as you're posting, is a huge deal. Okay, that goes into consistency. And then being vulnerable. So Lindsay Teague Moreno is somebody who is very vulnerable on her social media. She talks about her hard times and good times and all the things, but she doesn't share absolutely everything. So know that you don't have to share everything about your day or your life or anything like that. If you guys follow me, pretty much my posts are like my cousin's kids and Xander. It's really Xander, let's be honest. And and so but that's who I'm choosing to share and open up with. And I have a plan of how I want to open up, but I have to get to that point to be able to open up a different avenue of my life. But being vulnerable is something that everyone can relate to because there's this movement, Me Too. So people just want to be able to relate to you in whatever aspect it is. Right now, people relate to me as a dog mom. And so find your Me Too and tell that story. Know that you don't have to tell all of that. And let me find this notebook right here. Here it goes. We had a gal who is big on social media who came to this, and her name was Allie Edwards. And your social media is like a story. So it's a story of whatever you choose. So make a story of your day, however you choose to make a story of your day. If it's about your food intake, if you're a big foodie, make that your story, and people will follow your story. People are 22 more times likely to remember a story versus a fact. So if you tell somebody a story about how your dog, barked at people walking by, they're going to remember that story, and they're going to remember Xander versus me giving them a fact about how many dogs bark at their neighbors. Do you know what I mean? So just know that you should be telling a story. And then one last tip is whenever you go onto and you take a picture. So a picture taking tip is you want to use grids. So I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see my phone, but I'm going to try to show you. So whenever you look into my phone, do you see the grids? Let me move my face. The grid lines. So whenever somebody like Lindsay Teague, she scrolls through her Instagram super quick, and whatever catches her eye, she could look by the picture. She'll scroll through super quick, and she will look for a picture. And the human eye is trained to look up in this right-hand corner up here. So that's why the grids are super helpful on your phone. Let me put my hand there. So put your grids on your phone and try to concentrate your something beautiful right there. So if you have a plant in the middle of your picture and you crop it out where the plant is pretty much the entire picture, it's not going to catch anyone's eye. So you want to zoom out of that and make your top right corner of that grid something that is eye-catching, something that is clean, and something that you would scroll past and you would find eye-catching. And then put your subject down in this corner. So your plant, whatever you want it just down here in this corner. So Does that make sense? I can draw a picture if you guys need me to, if that doesn't make sense. So do your grid and use your left top of your grid as a clean focus point, and then your subject should be down here in the bottom right. Does that make sense? And then, so use those grids. I just put it on my phone, and if you guys want to put it on your phone, just go into your settings and go into camera, and you can turn grid on. Yeah, you can't see that. So I highly recommend that with taking pictures. It makes a huge difference whenever she was telling us about it. And then one thing that she also mentioned is a selfie versus a self-portrait. So she took a picture of herself about to fall into a ball, just, you know, bouncy, you know, those play pinballs that you can play around in at kids things. So she took a picture of herself about to fall into the balls. And so that was just a selfie. But then she took a self-portrait of herself falling into the balls. And there was a complete difference in the picture. So taking a self-portrait as you're doing something versus stopping and posing is very eye-catching to your audience. And two more things. Whenever you're taking pictures, whether it's with your grandkids, whether it's with your kids, or however you do it, ensure that you are in the photos too, because it's super, Trisha's face, it's super crucial in your audience. They want to know who you are. Yes, they want to know your story, but they want to know the face of your story, and you are the face of your story. Last thing I forgot to mention about Facebook. Something that I found randomly while playing around with groups. So you can, I don't know if you know this, but you can group high school friends, you know, work friends or whatever into a specific group. So if you click on that specific group, you only see those people's posts. So if you get onto your computer, you can form a group inside of your Facebook, and it can be your prospects and it can be your team. So I try to be cognizant of that, and I go in there and I comment on my prospects. So the more commenting you do on your prospects, they will see your stuff and the way you interact with them. So interacting, whenever you post something on somebody's Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you need to be readily available that first 5 to 30 minutes. That way that communication is there, and Facebook or Instagram in their algorithm sees that you guys are actually humans and you're actually communicating and have a relationship. So if you post something, just try to be available at least the first 5 minutes to comment and respond to people and have that interaction. So if you can comment, if you're doing an IPA and your IPA is social media, try to comment on 3 different things of a prospect. That way you guys can have that flow going. Your likes and your hearts and stuff like that are very, very low on the algorithm. And know that the algorithm changes frequently, but this has been kind of pretty consistent across the board with how they've changed the algorithm. So do the groups, and I think that's all.
That's really good stuff, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing that. Really, really good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was taking notes. Jennifer, will you find a picture that is a good example of the grid and send it to me? Mm-hmm. And I'll send that out to everyone so that way they can see a good example of what that looks like. And then if you have an example of selfie portrait differences, if not, that's cool. But like if you do, that would be great, because then we can send those out too. So that way everybody has those. That is great stuff. Really, really good. Okay, so I like that you mentioned
something real quick.
Yeah.
So with being consistent on your social media, sit down a day, a month, or a week, however you want to do it, and write out what you're going to post and save it inside of your notes of your phone or your picture or something like that, or have a backup. That way it's easier, so you're not thinking of what to post at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever it is, because that can be really hard. You draw a blank at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on what to post. So make that an IPA. Sit down and write out what you're going to post for the next week or month, or however you want to do it. And I do not mind sharing what information she gave us on what to post about.
Okay, that would be awesome. You guys, would it be beneficial, and you can put your answer in the comments here or in the chat, would it be beneficial to have a messenger thread just to be able to share things like the grid and that social media list that Jennifer's talking about, just as a way to like quickly get that to everyone? Or do you guys just hate that idea and you're like, do not give me another messenger thread? Not that we'll be really communicating with you on that thread, but it would be a way to just share things quickly, like those examples that Jennifer was just talking about. So vote yes or no in the comments. And obviously, if you do not want to do that, just say everyone else can do it, but I don't want in, and we will not put you in there because obviously you're not forced. So, okay. So I like that you talked about like vulnerability and sharing your story and creating Me Too moments. And so what that looks like, because if you're not familiar with social media and how to kind of like tell stories on there, that can seem like a very foreign concept. Like you're like, Me Too moments, what does that mean? And so what that looks like is, for example, today, like I shared a post talking about like being a mom, being a new mom, first time mom, and like how I like now love being able to take a shower uninterrupted. And that is like precious time to me, especially since I didn't put this in the post, but I just got, if you guys don't have a Bluetooth shower speaker, they're $25 on Amazon, get you a Bluetooth shower speaker. But because like that is time that I have to myself, and even if it's like 5 minutes, it's awesome. So, but anyway, I was kind of talking about that on there, and there were lots of people that commented and were like, oh my gosh, me too. Like, yes, yes, I understand what you mean. Okay. Creating those Me Too moments. And so now other moms are reading that and they're like, oh my gosh, me too. Yes. Like, or you might post something about like loving to like soak in the tub, and people are like, oh my gosh, me too. That's the best thing ever. Or, you know, like whatever it may be. Maybe it's like you love coffee. You love going to coffee shops. That is your jam. Somebody else on there is going to read that and be like, oh my gosh, me too. But how we create those Me Too moments is by telling stories. And so whenever you're typing out a post, like the goal is that you're going to tell a story. Because like what Jennifer said, like people are 22 more times likely to remember what you say if you're telling a story. And so, but tell that story in a way that they're going to be like, oh, me too. Like, yes, I love Trader Joe's. We have that in common. Because then when you're talking about, I love Trader Joe dark chocolate peanut butter cups. But then when you're have a post about oils, what happens is they start to identify with you, and they're like, oh, well, she likes Trader Joe's too. And yes, I love to soak in the tub. So then when you post something about peppermint oil one day, they're like, well, I like chocolate peanut butter cups and like to soak in the tub. And so if she likes peppermint oil, I'll probably like peppermint oil too. And so now I want to look into that. And so they start identifying with you, and they feel like that they have these things in common. And so it's just it's a psychological thing. And so you're creating these Me Too moments any chance that you get. And then when people do comment on your post, that you comment back and you start to kind of build those conversations. And you'll get that too by commenting on their stuff. And so you just automatically start to feel like you know each other. You guys know people on social media that you follow, and you're like, yes, like I know you, and you've never met them a day in your life, right? But they've created enough Me Too moments with you that all of a sudden you're like, we're BFFs basically. Like if I saw you in the coffee shop, like I walk up and be like, hey, Liz, how's it going? And you've never met Liz in your life. Okay. And so that's kind of what we're after with creating those Me Too moments. And so anytime we can share stories, that's what we want to do, which is the reason why I say you can absolutely do this business and never, like, we should not worry about coming across as gross, salesy, whatever, because if we're telling stories and doing it in that way, then that should never be the thing. And if people don't like what we have to say, then like we didn't need them to follow us to begin with, right? And so staying true to yourself and the things that you want to represent is really important. So when we are sharing about, let's talk real quick about a 5-to-1 ratio. So when we are sharing on social media, we want for every 5 non-oily posts, 1 oil post. So that means you share about, I don't even know, soaking in the tub, your kids, homework, and I don't even know, 5 things. And then on the 6th day, you're like, I'm popping up a post on energy because it's like saving my life right now. Okay. And so you tell a story about that. And then you have 5 other posts that are not oil related. And then you interject in something that might be like a product, or maybe a story about how you use lemon to get the gum out of the carpet in your car because Lucy stepped on gum in the Sam's parking lot and didn't pay any attention, or whatever. Or this is a good example. Rhonda's going Sam's parking lot because this happened to her. So let's say you put up a post about lemon oil, but instead of being like using a picture of lemon from Young Living, and you're like, I love lemon oil, who wants to buy lemon from me? Okay, that is what we do not want to do. Instead, what we want to do is say, oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so today I was in the Sam's parking lot and I stepped in gum, which is like, anytime this happens, it makes me so mad, because who spits out their gum in a public parking lot? Like that, who does that? I stepped in this person's gum and I was getting ready to get really, really mad because I had on my favorite, I don't know, Chaco sandals. And then I remembered I had lemon in my purse. You guys, it came off like immediately. Like, thank the Lord for lemon. Who would have thought that's the reason why I had lemon in my purse? But it worked. You know, now like problems are gone, whatever. But then they're like, oh, me too. That makes me so mad when people spit out their gum, because everybody knows that time that they stepped into bubble gum, right? In the bottom of your shoes, stick into the concrete, and like nobody, like it's annoying and it's maddening. And so, but they can identify with that and they're like, me too. And they're like, whoa, lemon oil for that. Huh. Okay. So they take note, right? And just kind of keep it in the back of their mind. But that like is a great example of, we're going to share something oily, but we're going to tell a story about it. And so we're sharing, but we're not saying, hey, come buy lemon, right? But instead what might happen is they're going to message you and say, okay, you mentioned lemon about gum. My kid drew on my wall with crayon. You think lemon will get that off? You know, like you're starting like you're making the wheels start turning. And so that's kind of what we're after with oily post. And so I'm just going to say this like out front. You can agree, disagree, whatever. But I personally do not like posting anything that looks like a promo, ad, graphic, oil related on my personal Facebook page. I do not like that. It has never served me well. I have never gotten an enrollment from doing that, ever. And guys, I've tried it. That does not work for me. But what does work for me is me sharing, you know, consistently, not randomly, but like, 5-to-1 ratio of how I'm using the oils, telling stories. And then what will happen is you will have someone message you and be like, hey, so I've been watching for a while. So quick lesson I've learned: don't ever be discouraged when you start posting, people don't like and people don't comment, because people are still watching. They'll say, I've been watching you for a while, and you're thinking, I didn't even know you saw my post, but okay. And I, saw how you've been using lavender on Oakland at night, and I've got a 3-month-old that won't sleep. Do you think lavender could help him? Or they'll be like, hey, I got a starter kit a really long time ago, and I think I need to get another kit. Can you help me? And so people will start to pop up, and like they will be contacting you because they've just been watching. And so that's the goal, is that you just let them watch. I think that if you try to use social media from a standpoint of, I'm going to sell a bunch of kits on here, and kind of use the standard MLM approach of like, here's an ad, kit sale, I do not think that's going to serve you well, and it's not going to help build relationships. Instead, you're going to be that typical MLM person. And so that's probably an unpopular thing to say, and some of you guys might even be slightly offended. I hope not, but that's my personal stance on that. And I think if you read books like Getting Noticed, you'll realize that is, like Lindsay Teague Marino is what I would consider a social media professional. She is like definitely a pro in her field and does it very, very well. And you will not see her doing things like that. And so I think that if you're going to use social media, you've got to look at it from a long-term big picture standpoint instead of short-term sale. Because I know that like for me, I'm not doing this for 3 months to like make a few extra bucks. Like this is something that is going to serve my family for generations. And so I'm looking at this very big picture that I'm going to build relationships with these people and I'm going to give them a value. I'm going to add value to their lives by what I post. Now I'm not a social media professional, and there are times that I'm not very consistent, and I've had to work on it and have a lot of work left to do. But I have a lot of my enrollments come from social media, and that's kind of how it's worked for me. So those are some things that I would just think about. And then the last thing that I want to tell you about sharing on social media is terms of like oils are concerned or Young Living products. We have to be very careful that we are compliant. And all that means is that we are not claiming that we are going to treat or heal or diagnose or like anything like that. So FDA says that we can't do that. And so if you are caught doing that by Young Living, you could potentially get your account pulled, which means like your business goes bye-bye, which is not cool. So you get 3 chances, but still like that just makes me want to like curl up in a ball thinking about it. So, but how we stay away from that is we tell stories about the oils. We tell how we use them instead of why we use them. We don't say I use lavender on my kids' eczema, right? Instead, we say we love using lavender. We love using lavender after bath time because it's really soothing on our skin. So to why you love it. I don't know if I said that first in the beginning about the how, why thing or whatever, but tell a story with it. Like we love using it in this way. Instead of saying we use lavender for eczema, we love using lavender on our skin or whatever. Do you guys see kind of the difference there? And so if you ever have questions about like when you get to your oil post, if you're like, like, I don't know if this is compliant or not, send it to me, send it to Rhonda, somebody, and say, hey, is this compliant? And then we can like kind of read over and be like, yeah, or I think there might be this one gray area. I'm not real sure. So let's just change up the wording a little bit. So I don't want to scare you guys, and I don't want it to sound like a scary thing. And it's not hard once you get into the habit of it. And I think especially if you start doing it from the get-go, it's a piece of cake. Like it's not a difficult thing at all. But I do just want to tell you that because I don't like having to message people when I do see a post that's really compliant and being like, hey, Annie, your post is really uncompliant. We should probably delete it off Facebook. And by the way, because we can't do these things. So I just like to tell you guys like beforehand up front, that way you just kind of know. That's that. Do you guys have anything that you want to add? Jennifer, is there anything else that popped into your mind that you're like?
I don't think so.
Okay. Rhonda, do you have anything? Okay. I think that's all we had.
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
I think that's good. Jennifer, thank you very much for all your tips.
You rocked that. Like
yeah, you did.
Yeah. My social media is going to a whole new level just from your tips. And guys, this book is on Amazon if you want it. Getting Noticed. It's a really short read. Look at that. Short, and there's big spaces between the lines. Like it really takes like no time at all to work through. And she's very blunt and to the point, which I love. She does not beat around the bush. And so, in fact, one day, I think maybe tomorrow, you guys are going to get a quote from her, and I like love it. I love it, but it's very to the point. So anyway, okay. That is all I've got for you guys tonight. And we are like right on the money. Did not go over an hour, which I'm excited about. So, we do not have a Zoom call next Sunday. The next one will be in 2 weeks, and we're going to talk kind of some strategy for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and some ways to handle that. And so knowing that we have those things coming up later on in the month, we really want to focus on the first half, checking in with our members and doing really, really good customer service. If we're not sure if they're using their oils, like let's find out and let's help them get those oils opened up and using them. Because bottom line, like why would they need to order more oils if they're not using the oils they have? So doing those kind of things and just building relationships with our members. Cause it's a constant, like, it's not a, like, here, they bought a kit. All right, thanks. And then like moving on. No. Like we want them to be our customers for life, right? Because we want this to impact their families for their life. Like, this is a lifestyle change. This is not just like a sale or them like buying one thing. And so, anyway, we're going to really work on that. So if you guys have questions at any point, there are no silly questions. Do not hesitate to ask us for help or whatever. Like, that's the reason why we are here. And thank you guys for getting on tonight. I know that it's late and I know that it's a Sunday night and you guys have work and stuff tomorrow. So thank you for taking time to do that. So I'm going to get off of here. I will post, we'll start up. I didn't see anyone say no to the message thread. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this to YouTube and I'll just put the link on that thread for you guys. That way you can just easily access it if you want to go back and look, listen to something again. And then those couple of girls that couldn't get on, they'll have access to it that way too. So, okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great week and I'll talk to you tomorrow.